Stand up and shout mice.
Mice! Mice!
We are halfway through Taskmaster Series 20, and I'm 20 minutes early. 22 minutes early. Well, now it says 21. But I'm looking at the comments. Everyone's talking about the contestants. They're talking about who they think said the title. Is that number got curves? This is a great opportunity for me to talk about the contestants, which I've been meaning to do, but I just haven't been. So let's do it. I've listened to 4 of the 5 contestants on the Taskmaster podcast, and I'm assuming the 5th one will be on soon. So I might talk about that person a little more later and a little less today, or I will. I'm planning to do it that way. But we'll start with Anya, because they're in this order, starting with A for Anya, and she was a little bit. So I did not know any of these people coming in. I'm a sheltered American rat, Chicago sewer rat, Master Sewer Emperor, all that. So I did not know any of these folks, but Anya, I watched all the interviews, and she was kind of under the radar for me. She seems introverted and not really sure what she wanted to do, but she's definitely grown on me quickly. And a lot of my favorite quotes from this series so far are from her, including saying a V word, which I won't say out loud. But I know that goes through my head sometimes. It's funny. All right, sometimes adult stuff is funny. But, yeah, at least a couple of my, even with the first task, with her talking about top speed, that goes through my head sometimes. That's one of those sentences that sticks in my mind. And she just seems more confident than I felt given just seeing her in the interview. So she definitely has more confidence, and I'm sure as the series progresses, she's getting more too, as now she's in the lead. Well, she's in the lead for Greg's scores. I'm not telling you my scores right now, although they're very interesting. And I'm not just saying that. There's actually something really interesting about the scores that I'm going to tell you next week. But next is Maisie. Maisie is the one who hasn't been on the podcast yet. But she had one of my favorite interviews. Had a running start going for her, being very competitive. We could tell straight away the moment she walked into the room, really. And we could tell straight away with again, I'll talk about that first task with the QR code, where some of the contestants went at top speed. You could tell immediately she was competitive, but I'm just going to lay back for now and talk more about her later. She is getting quite angry. She started out the series very well. She won the first episode, for instance. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to compare her to Reese in a moment once I get to Reese, but let's skip that for now. Phil was my immediate favorite in the interviews. A lot of people are saying he has Tim Vine energy, and I don't quite see that. I think I know what they mean, but I don't know. Aside from them both being childlike and bald, I don't quite get the specific thread they're going for there. What I thought at first, and I don't think this anymore, and I'm not sure if I've said this before. I might have said it once, but my first thought for Phil was he was like Guy Montgomery from the New Zealand Taskmaster and Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee, which I've started watching a little bit. But it was really just the way he talked. There were a couple sentences he said that really reminded me of Guy Montgomery. For instance, it was specifically the words, "not at all." When he said that, I don't know, it connected those two faces together in my mind, and now I've kind of had to separate them because, I mean, sure, they have similarities, but they're not the same person at all. But he's also not Tim Vine. I don't get it. Sometimes I don't know. I like Tim Vine a lot, and I like Phil a lot. He's still, I don't know, he could win. It's really weird. He had not won any tasks in this show until the 5th episode, but he's only a few points behind because he's getting so many second place wins. Well, not wins, but second place finishes. And I think he's very funny, and he's having a whole lot of fun just being there. I guess one more reason he could be like Tim Vine is, like the fact it seems like he lives in a kind of adjacent world to everything, which is how I often described Andy Zaltzman, another of my favorite contestants. Then we get to Reese, who is very interesting. So I've been watching Adam from something letters, CI, and he has some very interesting thoughts about Reese, trying to figure out if he's really a brainiac who's kind of in control of everything, or if he's actually confused a lot of the time. And it is hard to tell, because he could be playing dumb. And if he is, then congratulations, because it is fooling some folks, for instance. It fooled me at first. In the interview, I definitely thought that's what was going on. But there are a few points, like in last week's live task, where I'm pretty sure he knew he was getting points, and he is playing competitively. But there were some early situations in the I'm going back to the QR task again. There are some early situations this series where he got really confused over something. So, we'll see. But I wanted to compare him with Maisie. And I thought of another comparison now. I'll do the other one first. This one I just thought of, which is that Maisie is also getting confused by a lot of the tasks, though not as much lately. Definitely in a first, I really liked her take of making a cocktail in the sounds nice, or sounds disgusting, but is nice. Like, I liked the thing she did, but it didn't really fit the task. And there were a couple other moments like that. But what I wanted to say, what I was planning to say already, is Reese on the podcast was talking about how he doesn't think of himself as a very angry guy. And I think I believe him on that. All right? I'm an angry rat. Right now, I'm actually quite relaxed. Sometimes my eyebrows go like, but they're not now. But what was it? But Reese, I would say, can play up the anger, and he's trying to convince everyone that that's not really him, and it's a part of him. All right, he's an actor. The anger is real inside him, but he can turn it on and off. But from the podcast, it seemed like he did really enjoy doing Taskmaster, even if sometimes he was yelling. So I appreciate that. But I don't know if the same is true for Maisie, because sometimes it seems like she is genuinely irate at the score because she is very competitive. And I don't know if that's something where after the fact she can look back on it and say, oh no, it was fine. It was fine. I'm still like, yeah, but I know it's a game. We're just having fun. So I don't know. I'm as much as I like an evil villain, I don't want her to be like that. I don't want her to be constantly carrying grudges. So I hope she doesn't. And I really don't know yet. That leaves Sanjeev, and we have 11 minutes left to talk about him. I won't talk that long, but yes, Sanjeev seems to fade into the background a bit. Oh, actually, going back to the interviews, I said that Anya kind of faded into the background a bit, but I still liked hers. I liked her interview. I thought Reese and Sanjeev both had really blah interviews, but they each had some good moments in there, and every once in a while, Sanjeev comes out with something amazing, like a great quote, or one of my favorites is the babies, they grow a body. That's just a hilarious, again, like an adjacent world sort of thing, an alternate universe where babies grow differently, and that's sentence is stuck in my head. I need to clean my head out a little bit. There's a lot of comedy in there right now. But anyway, he's definitely not competitive, and I think Greg might be overscoring him. Although next week we're going to take a more of a look at my scores that I'm giving versus Greg's scores, because I noticed something specifically interesting this week. Like I said before, and we'll figure it out next time. Anything else about Sanjeev? I feel like I haven't said much. Because he's the one who fades into the background, but then he comes up like a beacon with something really funny, like the therapist comment, or turning things into a therapy session last week. And is this just a relaxed sort of humor that is a really good foil for some of the other things happening around him? Squeak! Cheese is ready! That's for later, actually. Scorecard is primed. Camera's rolling. I'm ready to record my live reaction, and I'm going to say I'm from Colorado. Not Colorado. From Chicago. I just read Colorado. From Chicago, because there's been another person saying they're from Chicago. Here we go. Oh, no. So, folks are also predicting who will win. Let's do that, too. So far, all of my winners have been the same as Greg's wins. So, I don't know. Sanjeev's not won yet. And Reese has not won yet. Right? I don't think he has. No, I think he has. I think it's just Sanjeev. Okay, well, gotta watch the episode. Bye, YouTube. See you in a moment.
A group of comics battling out.
So making a story,
right. Okay,
and a good
sure?
story at that is
Here
always a great idea. But got something a little shorter here. Was that meant to pause there? Wow.
Okay, thank you, Sanjeev.
It paused. Okay. So he's going to score it, and I'm pausing because this show has paused several times on me, right, recently, and I am not going to have time to watch the whole episode and do all of my score analysis after that. Maybe I can watch the whole episode, but I'm about maybe 10, 15 minutes behind at this point. Let me give my points, and we'll see how far we can go today, and we're not going to look at the comments, because they're way ahead of us now. But I'll give 5 points to Sanjeev. Because I don't believe, actually, there's two things. First of all, he said existential, and I think he said existential on purpose, and I don't think anyone noticed. Unless he said it earlier, and it was he was copying what he said, it was a refrain. But the other thing is, I'm not convinced that he did it on purpose. The second part, well, I mean, he obviously set it up. I'm not convinced that it wasn't supposed to break the egg. But either way, it's a good effect. So, a great effect, even. So there, 5 points. And, okay. Reese has to be 4, definitely. Maisie 3, Phil 2, Anya 1. I'll talk more about those all later, I guess. I am going to continue recording these episodes. I don't know when I am going to edit them, because this one is going to take a lot longer to edit because I'm doing all this pausing and such, and I don't know. It's so much work. But anyway, Sanjeev's was boring. I'm kind of just guessing on how much I knew. No, actually, let's give Reese one. I was going to give Sanjeev one. I'll give him 2. I think the best were Phil's and Anya's. And I'll give... I think I got more of Phil's than Anya's, so I'll do that. 5 to Phil, 4 to Anya. Maisie... Does she get 3? No, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, I guess, because I missed a little bit of hers. And then to Sanjeev and Reese, I could give the benefit of the doubt to Reese, too, because they were sped his up, so I would have maybe been able to read what he was writing just by watching. But that would only be possible if it's slow enough. And I may be overestimating my abilities to read that. He might get an obfuscation point, but for now, he's getting 1. Okay, I'm pausing. I think we could do this, actually. I think I could actually do this in time, maybe, if I get the obfuscation points real quick. Title, I was decided before I knew he won that I was giving it to Phil for not the Roman numerals. I like that title. I've got 4 possible obfuscation points to give. And in the 4th task, the flippers task, I won't give a point to Phil. I appreciated Reese. He did this with the snakes and ladders task too, where he actually like crawled up, at least for part of the time, he actually did the task as intended, which, no, that's not the right word. I'm running out of time, so I'm doing this quickly, but I'm giving him a point for that, for being in the spirit of the task, as Greg said. That's basically what I meant. And I liked Sanjeev going out to lunch. So 1 point to him, and let's leave it at that and get the scores. My scores were pretty tight for last this episode, but not for first. Phil won with 16 points, and Anya had 13, Maisie had 11, Reese and Sanjeev had 10. It's 5:03. I do not have time to talk about the tasks. So I will do that at the beginning of next episode. And if this happens again where I can't watch it live and I have to just cut out 5 minutes or whatever, or I have to catch up. My brain is frazzled. At least talking about this. I need to do other stuff. So I will tell you all about this week's tasks next week before the episode starts. So I will squeak you later. Don't miss it.
I reckon I did really well on this one.